Hello, beautiful people. Hello, butterflies, and welcome to season 2, episode 4 of Candid Conversations. I'm your host, Shakira, and I am joined today by our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful special guest, Whitney Forney. We are going to get into all the things worth the wait, but I want to welcome you. I want to just remind you that these are monthly sessions that are geared towards providing a safe space for women to come and discuss really common topics that we tend to go through that deal with life, but also that ultimately affect our emotional wellness. This is a safe space. No platform is too small, no platform is too big. This is a safe space for you to come and to get advice and to just talk. Have some girl chat with us, okay? And to hopefully leave a little bit lighter than the way you came in. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you joining us for the first time, if you're watching us live right now on Instagram, hello. Be prepared with your questions during Butterfly Chat because you will have the opportunity to ask Whitney some questions that you may have, and then we're going to discuss those things. And of course, y'all know at the end we have a little call to action for you as well, something like stir your thinking caps, all right? This is going to be a really impactful time together. I am super excited. I'm sitting in a full seat of expectancy today. And I'm just really, really, really excited to be here with you all. I'm really also excited to have Whitney here with us today as well. Today is Whitney's birthday. So y'all give Whitney some birthday love in the chat. She decided to come spend her birthday afternoon with us, and I could not be more honored. Whitney is an impactful coach, an impactful influencer. She's also an AVP, honey. So ka-ching, ka-ching, bling, bling. She's extremely successful, but she's also just a loving, 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 loving spirit, a genuine spirit. And I'm just so, so, so excited for all the things that she's going to share today. But Whitney, say hi to the butterflies and take some time to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shakira, for that welcome. I really appreciate it. Hello, hello to all the beautiful butterflies out there. Thank you guys for joining. We're going to have a transparent conversation today. Listen, I am excited. I'm full over here as well. So like she said, get your questions ready. And so just to tell you guys a little bit about who I am. So Whitney Forney, originally Whitney Brown. I am a baby of 3. I am originally from Monroe, Georgia. I am currently located in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been here since 2014. I am here with my hubby, my college sweetheart. We met at Benedict College. So whoop whoop to all the BC Tigers and Tigerettes out there. And really, I am just one that loves to give, whether that is through encouragement, whether that is through inspiration, prayer. I'm a career coach, so I love to pour into people that are in transition within their career. So whether it is a student, whether it's a teacher, you're trying to get into a different industry, my goal is really to just inspire you through the experiences that I've gone through to help you on that path. So that's a little bit about me, and I'm gonna turn it back over to Shakira.
Well, thank you so much, Whitney, for sharing. Thank you so much again for being here. You got some birthday love in the chat. So excited. And I see your shirt. You have on my favorite color. And it says, "It's my birthday." Just really excited, really, really excited. We're gonna have us a good time today. So now it's time for us to get right on into the chat. You ready?
Okay.
So how the chat is going to go, I'm going to ask you just some questions and we're just going to talk about it.
Okay.
Feel free to share as candidly as you like. And butterflies, interact in the chat. Mingle with each other. Talk to each other. Pour into each other. You hear something that you like, ooh, yes, that was good. Put it in the chat. All right. So the first question I have for you is, for many people, making significant life choices involves waiting for the right moment or opportunity. Can you discuss a decision in your life that was worth the wait and how it impacted your emotional well-being on the journey?
Woo, let's go ahead and unpack that question. So, we're going to talk a little bit about my career. As you stated, Shakira talked about me being an AVP. Well, I haven't always been there, right? So, coming out of college, I worked for Walmart. I was with them for about 7 years. And let me tell you, my emotional, mental well being was not the best at the time, right? And so I knew I had to make a change, but I didn't know what that looked like. At the time, I did not understand that I own my career, right? Not my manager, not the hiring manager, not my friends. I was responsible for the career that I desired. And so, with the help of God, right? I am one where my foundation is God. Any decisions that I make, I go to Him first. And so there have been a number of occasions where within my career, God has told me to leave, and I did not have a job. So in 2019, that was the very first time I had to step out on faith. I took a leave of absence due to my mental health. The job was overwhelming for me. I didn't know what to do. And so I prayed and I asked God, show me, show me what I need to do. And literally, He said, I need you to go. I think this was back when Steve Harvey came out with the book Leap. I was literally taking a leap off a building and did not have no type of safety other than God. And so I put that 2-week notice in. My managers, everyone was surprised again because I had been there for a while. And so I did that. COVID hit. Didn't have a job. Fast forward, I had to go back to, something that I knew, which was leadership. I got another job. It wasn't what I desired. God said, okay, here we go again. I need you to leave. And so all of this happened anytime I got that unction, that feeling of God telling me, Whitney, this is too small for you. And so being able to go from 2019 to 2024 now, I am with the company that literally the slogan is a great place to work. It is legit a great place to work. My mental well-being is on point. I have the ability to have that balance, right? There are some days that may be stressed, but one thing I just want to encourage everyone, note, and specifically within your career, if this is something that you are encountering right now, understand that you own your career. Seek God for guidance, but also understand that He's not going to put you in a position that He knows you're not ready for. And He also is going to test your faith to see if you are willing to leave when He tells you to leave. And so I hope that encouraged you. Like I said, it wasn't easy, but if I would have not left all of those different roles, I would not be where I am today. And I am grateful for where I am and where I'm getting ready to go.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. So much about what I heard you say is like in the waiting season, not being afraid to, or even when you are afraid in the waiting season, to still be obedient to that urge to do something new. So like, yes, you're waiting for like whatever the result is, right? But you're not waiting idly, like just waiting for it to just fall in your lap. What I heard you say is like, you stepped out and you were like, all right, I'm doing my part. So I'm waiting on you to do your part. But what's coming up for me right now with is faith without works is dead. It's like, I believe, but I got to do my work as well to receive that. So yeah, I appreciate you for sharing that. I appreciate you for sharing that. Next, I want to know, you spoke about this, but tell us, how have your personal values and beliefs influenced the decisions you've made about when to push forward and when to wait for the right moment in your journey, whether that be career, relationship, etc.?
Yeah. Well, for me, I'll say flesh, me, Whitney, I am one. Transparent moment, right? We're in a safe space.
Yes, we are.
I am one where I like to be in control. I'm a planner at heart. I'm an organizer. So I like to see it 1 through 10. It has to go this way, right? And so coming up, I did not I felt like I didn't have a place of understanding like what it is that I really wanted. My relationship was with, I had a relationship with God, but it wasn't to the extent of actually believing that he's going to do it. And my faith was there. And so I believe those waiting seasons taught me to understand. And I heard this when I was growing up. When you become an adult, you become independent, right? All the women, throw your hands up, independent. Be independent. Don't be dependent on anyone. Well, you can't be independent with God. You have to be dependent on him. And so once I understood that, I started to lean on him a little bit more. Now, is it easy? Absolutely not. I'm still dealing with it now where sometimes I'm questioning, like, okay, am I still waiting or am I at the finish line? And so I think it grew as my relationship with God grew. But it wasn't always there. Not at all.
Definitely empathize with that. So I have a follow-up question. So what I heard you say is like you're a planner, you like to be in control, you like to know like what are we doing? What are some tangible steps that you can give that you took to kind of lean out of that control space and more into the trusting space in waiting seasons?
Woo! Another good question. One thing I always fall back on is journaling. So being able to put my thoughts on paper, but also referencing the word of God. So there are times, and I'll say it like this: I don't know the Bible like the back of my hand. My goal is to one day, but I use that as a reference on, am I supposed to be worrying about this, or am I truly supposed to be waiting? Am I supposed to be anxious, or so I always try to reference it to make sure that I'm not out of line. So for me, I would say journaling is really helpful. Being able to put my thoughts on paper and just referencing the word of God.
I love that. I love that. So, okay. So many questions are coming up right now. Like, so what are some things that you can say? No, I don't want to ask you that. I don't want to ask you that. I'm going to ask you what I really want to ask you.
Okay. Okay. Look, this is Candid Conversation. So
yes. This is being candid. I'm being candid here. So how do you deal with the emotional turmoil of not getting what you think you deserve in when you think you deserve it, even though you have the journaling and you have the Bible and you have, prayer and you have faith? How do you deal with that emotional tug of war, where like mentally and emotionally, like our flesh, right? These are things that God gave us. God gave us emotions, and he's like, I can handle all of your emotions.
Right.
But knowing that he can handle them, and then us feeling them, and then still walking out of that emotional place, being hopeful and being faithful is really difficult. So how do you navigate that?
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm done.
I acknowledge the emotion. So I am currently in a waiting season, and I am experiencing emotions that I've never experienced before. And so a lot of times, again, I reference going back to the journaling portion, but there are times where I'm angry and it comes out. But then I have that moment where I have to step back and reflect on, well, why was I really angry? What could I have done differently? If there was anyone else involved, how can I apologize? How can I mend whatever was broken in that moment? Another one, if I am overly excited, why am I overly excited? How can I apply that to good use? And so I really think it's about understanding the emotions that you feel, because sometimes we don't name those emotions, right? I could be hurt, but I'm thinking I'm sad. Or I could be grieving, but I'm thinking that it's something else. So acknowledging what that emotion is and what the root of it is helps me. So
I love that. And I also love that your response wasn't like a do this. It's practical, it's easy, but it's real, right? It's real that like you got to feel what you're feeling and not just feel it, but you got to be able to like acknowledge that this is what I'm feeling and name this is what I'm feeling.
Yep.
Be honest about it and understand that as a human, you might make some not good decisions. You might rub some people wrong. You might do some things that like, I can't believe I just did that. But there's always opportunity to make it right. There's always opportunity to go back and be accountable and address and like name. But what I also heard you say is in the event that it involves somebody else, you make it right with yourself first and then you go.
Absolutely.
Make it right with them.
And
That
I want to add one thing too. Ooh, it just went away. Hold on.
It's
If
okay.
it comes back, I'll let you know. But it really was along the lines of, it really went away. Back to it because
I'll come back.
it was there, but it's just, I think it's the part of once you acknowledge, you know, you have people that are involved in it. You also need to understand that some of that you got to take account of how you made that person feel. And so there are times where words hurt. And thank you. There it goes. Thank you, Lord. Voice. So in those times where your emotions are all over the place, and it, to me, transparent moment. Sometimes that inner little girl gets quiet, right? And so in those moments when you experience all the different emotions, don't lose the voice, right? I'm okay. No, or you're not responding, because that ultimately is hurting you worse than you think. And I've experienced that where my voice may be loud now, but I get so small as a little girl, it hurts, right? That you can't really articulate how you made me feel in that moment. So
that is so good. Like, so even in the wait, what I'm hearing is even in the wait. Let me back up. Hold on. In the wait, there are going to be moments and times that our emotions are going to rise. Number one, I heard you say is that's okay. Acknowledge that it's happening. And don't lose your voice in the fact of that, like in the aspect of that happening. Actually use your voice more and lean into whatever it is that may be coming up, whatever that inner child is like allowing, like she for us, like she's showing herself strong right now. She's feeling this and she's feeling that, but don't shrink back in that moment and withhold whatever it is that you need to say or get out, because what's coming up for me right now is that could very well be a tangible lesson, a valuable lesson that you're learning during the wait that's going to still ring very loud after you get what it is that you've been waiting for. Oh, that was so good. So we got some comments here in the chat, like feeling your true emotions. Absolutely. And listen to your inner child. I love that. Absolutely. Because all of those are valid. And it's honestly a little contrary to what we were taught growing up.
right.
I know, like, I know for me, we never talks about like the inner child, and like I was a child, but my mom didn't talk about like as an adult her inner child that creeps up. We talk about it now, but growing up we didn't have that language. And so now as we are growing up and matriculating in our adulthood, it's like we feel like we are going through things, waiting seasons, heartbreak seasons, grieving seasons, lost seasons, and all these things that are foreign. But in the reality, they're not. They're not. But this is part of the beauty of conversing with one another, because I believe this is also why I believe there's so much healing in conversation, because I feel like what we do this to, what we close ourselves off to, it has the ability to manifest itself more and more and more in different ways within us because we're not letting it out. And it becomes like shame and like shame, and I can't think of the other word right now. I don't know why it's coming to me, but it kind of feels like shame. And I know shame is like mold. It grows in dark places.
Right.
So you got to like allow some light to come in. And for a lot of us, we were maybe taught, or maybe we've conditioned ourselves to like just be quiet in those seasons. And sometimes we do. Sometimes
Mhm.
we need to be quiet.
Yes.
But you know, you reference the Bible, and I know that in the Bible it teaches us that in the event that there's a conflict, right? Whether it's with, and I internalize this to be like an internal conflict or an external conflict. Like,
Okay.
it gives us instructions on how to deal with the conflict. Like, go to your brother if it's with somebody external, like go to them and
Yep.
talk to them and try to resolve that conflict. And I feel like if it's internal, it's like, let me journal this. I can go to myself, I can
Yep.
address myself, but I can't, in a lot of times, like mitigate it myself. So like, let me journal, get clear on what I'm feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I might go see my therapist and like talk this through with my therapist so that she could give me a little bit of insight on like what is coming up for me and why am I feeling this way.
Yep.
But the waiting season absolutely has full ability to bring all of those things up out of us, because a lot of
Exactly.
times it's us with us.
And I want to add to this. So this was recent, this week, right? Currently in a waiting season, emotions were all over the place. I was literally transparent. You're gonna hear me say this a lot. Transparent moment
Mhm.
on vacation,
Mhm.
and it was just an off day. I literally sat and looked at myself in the mirror for about 10 minutes, and tears just shedding all over. And it was a sense of, I couldn't find the words. It was a sense of, even in the waiting season, sometimes the person you see in the mirror, you don't even recognize them because the weight is so different. And it was hard, right? My
Mhm.
husband kept asking me, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was just looking in the mirror and I'm just like, "Who are you?" You know, this season looks different from you, but I had to remind myself, Whitney, you are somebody.
Yes.
Don't diminish your voice because of the things that you are encountering. Don't allow what you are waiting on to make you feel any lesser than, right? And
Mhm.
so I just wanted to share that, because sometimes when you wait, you don't understand the person, or you may not know the version of yourself that you see in the mirror.
Yeah. That's so good. That's
Mhm.
so good. Thank you for sharing. That definitely aligns. It resonates so much. It resonates so much because it's true. Um,
Mhm.
the weight has the ability to, I mean, literally, it can strip you. And if we are not mindful of who we are and whose we are, and we're not rooted in a firm foundation of who we are, those moments, that very real moment that you just shared with us,
Mhm.
it can be detrimental to us if we don't have within us that ability to like, wait a
Mhm.
minute. I know I'm not recognizable, and this isn't some hocus pocus,
Mhm.
but I am somebody. I am
Absolutely.
worthy, even in the wait.
Yeah.
I am deserving, even in the wait. I'm still impacting, even in the wait. I
Yeah.
am still all the things, even in the wait. And
Mhm.
when, because it's not an if, it's when,
That's
whatever it is
right.
that I'm waiting for
Mhm.
is given unto me, it's not going to shift my
Mhm.
posture in who I am,
Right.
because I was able to sustain who I am. Maybe not like this. Maybe
Right.
it was like this, and then a fume, and then it went
Woo.
back up. But it's okay. I was able to sustain who I am, the value of who I am,
Mhm.
even in the wait. So my value is not attached to, thank you, Lord. My value is not attached to what I'm waiting for.
That's right.
It's an addition, but it
Mhm.
doesn't constitute or equate my value. Therefore, in the waiting season, I have to continue to remember my worth and my value.
Mhm.
Good. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Whew. All right. Another question here.
Okay.
That was good. That was good. Um, in your experience, how has the concept of patience influenced your approach to forming meaningful connections with others during a waiting season?
First of all, patience. Don't ask for it. Don't ask God to give you more patience, because he's going to take you through some tests and some trials for you to understand how to get that patience. So for me, really, I think it's just about, first off, starting with self, reevaluating who I am, understanding how I am before I start to try to bridge those connections. I am one where I feel like connections can make or break you. Who you are connected to can make or break you, especially in a waiting season, right? And so I think it's really just along the lines of understanding what's your patient level, because you may have a tolerance with someone that may be like this, but your tolerance with someone else may be like that. So I think it's just about understanding your patience, understanding your level of patience with the people that you're trying to connect with, and then also expanding that, right? Because we all want to continue to grow, and as you grow, those connections may look different. So
I love that. Thank you. What
absolutely.
I heard you say is check yourself, check your patience meter, tap into yourself,
Yeah.
tap into what you can and what you can't,
Mm-hmm.
um, and understand that it's okay,
And
because
what you can control.
absolutely, and that's only us. It's only us.
Yes.
Um, as another person who likes to be in control and like likes order and structure and organization, and like I need to plan, and it just is, I don't know, it gives type A, like it just music to my ears, like a organizer. Oh my God, yes. Like a project plan template. Yes, let's do this thing. Um, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard when trying to apply that to certain aspects of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of this thing we don't have control over. We can make right decisions, we can make good choices, but the outcome ultimately does not belong to us. And
Right.
so that is something that I am still grappling with, because it's like a lot of unlearning and relearning, right? Like
Mhm.
I was taught, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you get this. And
Yep.
if you don't get this, it's because one of these 5 things you did wrong.
Yep.
And so it's like, well, dang, I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I'm still not receiving what it is that I was believing and working for. So like, what is this? But just checking in with myself, being gentle with myself,
Mm-hmm.
affirming myself, loving on myself,
Yep.
reminding myself that like, yes, I'm waiting on a thing, but my value is not attached to that thing. So I still gotta love on myself. I still gotta like be good to me. I
Yeah.
can't just cop out because the thing that I'm waiting for has
Mhm.
not yet shown its face. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate you for sharing that. I
And
really
you said something that has been sticking with me. You said, and I don't want to misquote,
do.
my value is not attached to that thing. And that speaks volume, because listen, a lot of times we may feel, and I'll just use this as an example, we may feel the need to attach our value to our marriage,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately the value is here first. And so that
Mm-hmm.
is good, because sometimes we can get it mixed up a little bit. So
Yeah, those lines blur, but rightfully so, because it's
yep,
like it's an integral part of our lives.
absolutely.
So it's important to like remind ourselves, even like,
Hmm.
baby, your value is not attached to that thing.
Yeah.
And butterflies, I'm telling you as well, your value is not attached to anything that you are waiting on. It is
Hmm.
not attached to that.
Yep.
All right. So, looking back on your journey thus far and knowing what you know now, what is one thing you would tell yourself today that would have helped you during one of your most trying waiting seasons, or something that you need to hear right now in your waiting season?
I would say, Whitney, you are worthy of everything you desire. Because sometimes, you can, and I was praying when I was in the car earlier, like, Lord, help me to dream bigger. It's a new chapter in life. There's no limit to what you can do, right? Help me to get outside of what I see in the natural. Like, help me to expand in a way that, if I want to be the president, let me think that I want to be the president. Like,
Yes.
help me to expand in a new way. And so, yeah. Ask me that question again, because I feel like I missed a part.
It's okay. It's okay. Looking back on your journey thus far and knowing what you know now, what is one thing that you would tell yourself today that would have helped you during one of your most trying waiting seasons, or something you need to hear in your current waiting season?
I will also say, don't lose faith. We always say faith without works is dead, and all of these things, but do I really have the faith for what I'm waiting on? Or is it just, I'm just quoting what I know? And so really, like, do I really have the faith? Because that was FAIT. That's 4 or 5 letter word is a big word. And he talks about the size of a mustard seed, but do I really even have that amount of faith in what I'm waiting for?
Yeah, that was good to me. What's coming up for me is like, to what you just said, like, yes, we quote things. Yes, we quote the Bible scripture, like, we quote the cliche, like the sayings, right? But like, something that I have that's been consistently in my faith has been, what truly is faith? We know it's the size of a mustard seed. We know that it is like something that we say we have. We know, and I know, like, one of the first things that I remember, like, from church is like, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the absence of the evidence of things unseen. However, it's, when I really like break that down, like, what does that mean? It's the substance of things hoped for. So my hope is my faith. So my hope is attached to my faith because I'm believing and hoping for something that I quite literally, I cannot see. Can't see it. I can't see it in the natural eye, but in my spiritual eye, I know and I believe, and I'm going to continue to ask for that thing, because I'm hopeful that God will provide it. And so, even if it's just a little bit of hope,
yes,
like, what I heard you saying is like, that's enough. Like, he can do so much with just a little bit of hope. But it's during the waiting seasons when it gets trying and it gets hard and it causes you to doubt yourself. It causes you to, like, again, look in the mirror and not even recognize who you are. It's like, will you dare to tap into the little teeny tiny bit of hope? Because that hope is directly attached to your faith. So you are no longer hopeful about a thing. Are you really being faithful about a thing? Are you really including your faith in, like, believing that he's going to do it for you?
right.
Like, I think something that I would tell myself is like, as much as you believe it for other people, you really got to believe it for yourself. You really got to believe it for yourself. Like,
Yep.
there is nothing that's too big. Like, to what you said, like, there's nothing that's too big. Like, you are allowed to dream big. Because something that I was taught, is that, like, God ain't in it. Like, he'll do little things, but like,
Yeah.
come on now, you don't be asking God for a house. You can go work for a house. Like, go work for a house, go work to get a house, but like, dream bigger than that. Give him something to be like, you know what, I can work with that.
Yep.
You know, I don't know. It's just, and really believe that not just like it can happen, but like dare to say out of your mouth and like posture your heart, position your heart to know it can happen for you. Like it is mine. Not because I earned it, not because I deserve it, but because I know that God said that I can have this thing and I believe him for it. And I'm just going to continue to be, in today's words, the Lulu, but in our words, hopeful
Right.
about it coming to pass. And I'm going to speak like it. I'm going to talk like I'm going to walk like it. I'm going to
Yep.
pray like it. And in seasons where I don't, I'm not going to beat myself up, but I'm going to get right back on track. So those are the things that I would tell myself.
Woo! Listen, you said a whole lot. you said a whole lot. One thing I think about too is it's so the one thing that you hit on that really stood out for me is I see him do it for everyone else, but why is it that when I'm waiting, but we have to go back to that reminder of, I think about the movie War Room, how she had the answer prayers. Sometimes we have to go back, pull out another answer prayer. Even though that waiting season might have been 4-5 years, he did it, right? It might have been a year, it might have been 6 months. So why is it that now somehow you're in another waiting season, you feel like he's not going to do it if he done it for you before? And so that
that's good.
Good old faith.
Yeah, reminding ourselves of like what he did before. Because ultimately, even though we are all in a waiting, we are all waiting on something. We all waiting on something. Some of the things that we are waiting on maybe like seem to others like, oh, well, your wait is a little more serious than mine, but it doesn't matter. Whatever each individual's weight is personal to them.
Right.
However, something I saw on Instagram the other day is like, no matter how up and down life is or life becomes, I have to remind myself that it's my faith that got me here. Yeah. Like, it's my faith that got me to the point that I'm at now. So before we start working on like, okay, well, what's next? What's next? What about this? And what about that? Like, Lord, I'm hurting right now. Well, you were hurting before, and he helped and got you through that heartbreak or that hurt or that disappointment before. So why do you think this one is too large for him now? Like, it's a weight for a certain thing, a different thing that might be an emotional weight, a weight for an emotional need to be met, but it's still a waiting season. And so I love what you said, like, go back to what he did before, the evidence of what you know that he's done for you before, or what you know you have received before. And let that like consume you when those negative thoughts come in, because they're gonna come in.
Absolutely.
Like, go back, get you an evidence journal of like, all right, I woke up today. That ain't nothing small. I woke up today. I have food in my refrigerator. I just got paid on Thursday. I had no money on Friday, but I have gas in my car.
Yep.
I got treated to lunch every day of the week or 2 days a week. Like, whatever it is that you know is like, there's no way other than like me just like being hopeful that it was going to work out, and it worked out. That's evidence of whatever it is you're waiting for. It's going to work out too. It's going to work out.
I wanted to add too, and every time something come up, it try to leave, but let me make sure it don't leave too quick. So in the waiting season, I know we all are waiting on something specifically, right? But I think that God is very strategic, because anytime we are waiting, he is doing something on the inside of us that's drawing us closer to him. So whether it be stretching us in our faith, whether it is stretching us in our prayer life, whether it is stretching us in our giving and how we impact, how we love, our waiting season is actually his benefit in a sense, because it's drawing us closer to him. And so I'm grateful for the waiting seasons. when we get to that end of, was it really worth it? Absolutely. Because when you look back, it doesn't feel like it took that time to get to the point of where you are. My pastor always said, you either in a storm, going in one, or coming out of one. And so I want to rephrase that. You're either waiting currently, you've gotten what you desire, or you're getting ready to go in a waiting season. So it's
Absolutely.
just a part of life. We just have to do better. And I was looking, I had research. I was like, how many times is the word wait in the Bible? And it's over 100 times. So if God is telling us to wait, so many people had to wait, right? Even Jesus had to wait. Why can't we wait with a good posture, heart posture, to receive, what it is that he has for us? So
That's so good. Wait with the right posture. Wait with the right posture. The right posture means, what I'm hearing you say is like, don't let whatever you're waiting for rob you of your joy, of your voice, or of the fact that whatever you're feeling is valid. And those feelings are going to be there, but it doesn't negate and should not, don't let it rob you of your hope.
Absolutely.
I love that. Well, it's time for butterfly chats.
Okay.
We have a question in the chat. Butterflies, this is the opportunity for you to add any question in the chat that you would like for Whitney and myself to answer, and or for us to expound upon a little bit more. So if you're joining us live right now in the Butterfly Garden, I want to encourage you to go ahead and add a question to the chat. So we already have a question here in the chat.
Okay.
How do you handle your waiting season when it seems others around you are surpassing their waiting season and flourishing?
First thing I think of is celebrate them. Because if God is in the neighborhood, that means something is up, right? And so I would just say, continue to celebrate, because a lot of times the things that you're waiting on is right in your face. You see it all the time, or it's like, oh man, here it goes again, or I see it. So I think it's just celebrate. Don't be this. You may have moments, right? Acknowledge the emotions. You may have moments where you feel discouraged, but acknowledge it, celebrate, and prepare yourself for your time to celebrate. So
that is so good. So I laughed because literally, so in my church, we're doing Pray 21. Okay. And so it's 21 days of prayer. And a consistent theme has been, if God is in the neighborhood, like, get ready, because if he's giving you proximity and access to see a thing happening for somebody close to you, or somebody that's connected to you in some way, or let's just even say you scrolling on social media and for whatever reason it's just constantly in your feed, it's just like, yes, the feeling sometimes of jealousy do creep in, and that's normal. But check it. To your point of something that you said earlier, like, I need to understand what my feelings are. I need to understand what's the root of this feeling. And then I need to go back and like speak to that feeling, into that emotion with what I know to be true. Like, yeah, I definitely do feel like, well, what is that? Well, I'm seeing everybody around me like getting there. It's like, when is it gonna happen for me? And I also know that whatever it is that I'm waiting for may be slow baking for a reason. And it's not to negate that whatever they've been blessed with is like a smaller version or a lower version or whatever of what I'm waiting for. But I know that, like, whatever I need to do and deal with in my while it's slow baking, it's going to be more savory. It's going to be more valued. It's going to be more loved. I'm going to take care of it better. I'm going to be more attentive. I'm going to do all these things and handle it with more care, because it's been slow baked. God could be moving things out of the way that are
Yep.
placeholders right now, or putting people in position or things into position during our waiting season, so that when it's time for us to go,
Yep.
you don't have to work as hard.
Listen, if we had a glimpse, God, sometimes I'll be like, God, let me, if we had a glimpse of the behind the scenes of what God is doing, we'll be blown away. We will be blown away about what we see and how he's moving things around. But the fact that we can't see it, it's like,
It drives us crazy.
Yeah. It's like, I'm here, God, right? You hear me. Don't forget about me, SOS.
Ooh, child. But definitely, I agree with your answer to that question. Like, celebrate, because if you are able to witness and or see other people hold like whatever they've been believing for, just know that yours is coming too. Yep. Like, it's not it for you. It's not up for you. Like, there's women in the Bible who waited till they was in their 40s to get pregnant and have a baby. Waited for 40 years. Like, wait a minute. Not 40 years, because I mean, they wouldn't be getting pregnant like but they waited for like 20 years. Let's just give it that, right? Or 30 years or whatever it is. People who've been waiting for like the right opportunity, right? Like, not everybody's waiting season in numerical value is long, right? But emotional turmoil or emotional, like, this is straining, this is a lot. It feels like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Even like when you think about, dealing with breaking up with our expectations, we have the way that we know we want our life to be and how we want our life to look. And that's an expectation. And oftentimes when whatever it is that we may have been waiting for, we get it, and it doesn't look like what we had been expecting.
Yep.
That can affect the next waiting season, right? It can affect, like, all right, so last time I waited, I didn't say this, I didn't say this, I didn't think about this, and I didn't think about that. But ultimately, something to be reminded is that, like, number one, you don't know the cost that individual or those individuals had to pay in their waiting season to get what they got. So don't covet somebody else's blessings,
right?
Because you don't want to covet what it took for them to get their blessings. You want to stand firm on what you need to go through to get yours.
Right.
But then also celebrate them, because yours is on the way. You want to be a good steward of what God is blessing you with. Absolutely. So don't lose sight of that. I love it. I'm excited. I'm so excited. This has been such a good conversation. Yes. It's been such a good conversation. My last question for you is, for many people, the concept of worth the wait extends beyond career achievements, but also includes personal growth, emotional wellness, friendships, relationships, etc. What is some advice that you would give to those listening or watching in their waiting season right now? So first, it was advice that you wanted to hear. But now some advice that you would give to others in their waiting season.
First off, it's going to be okay. That's the first thing. It's going to be okay. Understand that you are not alone in the waiting season, no matter what it is that you are waiting for. But also understand, once you have achieved, came over that waiting season, you also need to understand that what you wanted may not be perfect either. So you talked about the expectations, like breaking up with the expectations. Don't have such a huge expectations, type A, organized, that, okay, I'm here now and it's gonna be like this, because then you really breaking your heart. So I would just say, embrace your waiting season. Really take that time to self-reflect. I believe in self-reflection every day now. Like, we all are evolving every single day, whether we believe it or not. We all are evolving. So I would just say self-reflect, give yourself grace. You know, you may have days where you may feel better than others, but when you get to that point of what you waited on, understand, reflect on how you felt in the waiting season,
Yeah.
and think about how you grew, right? Because there was some stretching in that process. And so I think it's just it's not simple.
Yeah.
Season's not simple at all, but having realistic expectations work once it gets there versus thinking that it's going to be one way and it's the total opposite. Be open to change, be open to embracing whatever it is. And it's ultimately what you make it, right? So it all ties into your emotions, your heart posture, everything we've talked about, really, it all ties into it. So yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
received that for me, honey. I just want to take some time to just thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you publicly. I've thanked you privately, but I'm a firm believer of what I do in private. If I can love on you in private, I can love on you in public. And I just want to just thank you for taking the time to sit with me today, sit with us, and to share. Thank you for agreeing to be on this platform and share your gift, share your story, a little bit about your story. Um, and just make yourself available to those all the time. You've always just been so available and just so welcoming and so loving and so graceful throughout the different transitions of life. And honestly, Whitney, girl, you make it look easy. You make it look easy,
I
but
don't
I know it's not easy.
I
No,
mean, I don't know how, because woo.
I think it's just the relentless pursuit to not give up and to not show up.
Mm.
That's what it is. That's what I see. And I don't have like an inside view at all. But
Hmm.
what I do see is a relentless pursuit to not show up, like to not show up. There we go.
Right.
Like
Right.
you keep showing up, and that speaks volumes. And so I want to just give you the opportunity to like let everybody know where they can find you, um,
Okay.
what you have coming up, and
Okay.
like, yeah, then we'll close out with our call to action.
Okay. Okay. Well, so very simple. I have a website, whitneybrown.org. Just has a little bit of my bio. I am a certified career coach. So if you are looking to transition in your career, also life coach, if you just want some advice, or you need, just a coach to encourage you throughout, please feel free to reach out. I love LinkedIn. So, from a professional standpoint, you can connect with me on LinkedIn under Whitney Forney. I am also on TikTok and Facebook. So, TikTok and Instagram, it is I am underscore Whitney Inspires. And then Facebook and LinkedIn, it is under Whitney Forney.
Awesome. Y'all make sure y'all tap into Whitney. She is like a wealth of knowledge and a welcoming spirit. Genuinely, she's just a welcoming person. She's a loving person. And if there's something that she can do to help, baby, she will. And if she can't do it, she will say, now, I don't know that I can help you in this avenue, but I might have somebody that I can connect you with that
That,
may be able to help you.
that is, listen, it ain't about what you know. It's about who you know now. I'm telling you. So
Mm,
connect.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you, butterflies, who have joined us live. Thank you, butterflies, to those of you who are listening to this in playback version on podcast. Those of you who are actually on live right now, don't forget to follow us on Spotify for podcasters. You can find us under the Beauty Beyond the Mirror, Candid Conversations, and then on YouTube, the Beauty Beyond the Mirror. Instagram, you're already here, the Beauty Beyond the Mirror, and then on Facebook, the Beauty Beyond the Mirror Project. It's been such a pleasure. I want to leave you all with this. There's been so many amazing takeaways that I know for me personally, I've gained from this session, but a few things that are coming up for me right now. In your waiting season, no matter what you're waiting for, you have to understand that you are not, whatever it is that you are waiting for does not equate your value. You are worthy of what you are waiting for, but whatever it is that you are waiting for doesn't mean that your value is attached to that thing. So in the wait, continue to love on yourself, continue to affirm yourself, speak life over whatever it is that you're waiting for, and believe not just that it can happen, but that it's going to happen for you.
Yes.
So this week, we're going to leave you with the call to action. I want you to actually do something that Whitney has referenced several times throughout today's episode. I want you to journal. I want you to think about, like, allow yourself to feel, first of all. And then I want you to journal, what are your feelings? But don't just journal out your feelings for the sake of journaling. Get really clear on what you're feeling and then drill down to understand the true root of why you are feeling that way. Then once you do that, I want you to then affirm whatever it is that you've written out that's attached to that why. So if it's a weight that is connected to a job, and you're experiencing some doubt, some fatigue, you're experiencing some like loss of hope, hopelessness, journal those feelings. I'm feeling these things. And then journaling to getting to the why looks like, well, I'm feeling hopeless because I really don't believe that it's going to happen for me. And why don't I believe that it's going to happen for me? I don't believe it's going to happen for me because the job that I'm believing God for, the opportunity that I'm believing God for, I've never seen it given before. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that you need to affirm. If it's something that you're believing God for as it relates to a doctor report being turned around, maybe a doctor has said that, I don't know about a baby for you, honey. Affirm yourself, first of all.
Yep.
You continue to do what you know you need to do. Mm-hmm. And then journal what feelings come up for you when you hear that. Does it make you feel like a failure? Does it make you feel like less of a person? Does it make you feel like whatever it is? And understand, like, what's the root of those feelings? Mm-hmm. And if it's because I feel worthless, then I want you to affirm that part of you, because you are worthy. You're not worthless, and it will happen for you. It may not happen the way you want it to happen, but it will happen for you. The waiting season is not easy. It's going to come with ups and downs and ebbs and flows, but your value is not attached to whatever it is that you're waiting for. I see y'all next month. Tap into Whitney Forney, get in contact with her, and we'll see y'all in the week for some weekly motivations per usual. But thank you for joining, and have the most amazing Saturday.
Yes.